Hello student, in this class we will obtain a relation for chemical equilibrium in terms of property of individual component. So let us consider we have a chamber. In this there are four components A, B, C and D, and there will be a chemical reaction among these components. The chamber is maintained at a temperature and pressure of T and P, and Na is number of mole of A, Nb is number of mole of B, Nc is number of mole of C, and Nd is number of mole of D. The reaction is chamber is maintained at constant temperature and pressure, and the reaction will be such that A plus B reacts to form C plus D. So, if there is a reaction occur, then A plus B will convert into C plus D. So the total number of mole converting will be Na plus Nb converts into Na, Nc plus Nd. Now the system is maintained at constant temperature and pressure. For constant temperature and pressure, the condition is which we have derived in our last class. The change in Gibbs free energy is equal to 0 at equilibrium. For constant temperature and pressure, the change in Gibbs free energy is equal to 0, that we have derived in our last class. If we expand this expression, then Gc plus Dnc, here G is molar Gibbs function and Ni is number of mole. So if you expand for component A, B, C and D, we will get this equation: Gc plus Dnc, Gd plus Dnd, Ga plus Dna plus Gb Dnb, that will be equal to 0. As I explained, the reaction is such that A plus B reacts to form C plus D. So this is our reaction expression. Va, Vb, Vc and Vd are stoichiometric coefficients. And the number of mole formed due to chemical reaction or number of mole decrease due to chemical reaction will depend on its stoichiometric coefficient. Whatever may be the amount of A after the reaction will depend upon the stoichiometric coefficient of component A. Similarly, what will be the number of mole of D after the reaction will depend upon its stoichiometric coefficient Vd. Or we can write the change in number of mole of A will be equal to epsilon Va. Here epsilon is proportionality constant. Similarly for Dnb, Dnc and Dnd, the number of mole of component D will change depends on its stoichiometric coefficient and proportionality constant. Here the N and B, A and B value are negative because these are reactants. They are converting into products. So their number of mole will decrease. So its value is negative. So if this one is equation 8 and this one is equation 7, then if we put equation 8, this value of number of mole of different component in this equation, then finally we will get this equation. It's expressed in terms of its stoichiometric coefficient and molar Gibbs free energy. So this is the criteria for chemical equilibrium. this is criteria for chemical equilibrium. So the criteria of chemical equilibrium is the change in Gibbs free energy is equal to 0. This is applicable only for process in which temperature and pressure are constant. So in our previous example, the dg value, this one is 0, so this one is equal to 0, and this whole value is dg at constant temperature and pressure. So this is the condition of equilibrium. Now the equilibrium constant for an ideal gas. This Gibbs energy is function of temperature and pressure, and if you want to know the value of Gibbs function for an ideal gas, its value is available in the literature. You will find Gibbs energy for different temperature and pressure. For example, if temperature is constant, so for particular temperature you will get value of Gibbs energy at different pressure, vice versa. So let's know the Gibbs energy delta G is equal to delta H minus TdS. And the change in entropy delta S is equal to Cp ln T2 by T1 minus R ln P2 by P1. This expression we also have derived in our previous classes. At constant temperature, this term will be 0. At constant temperature, this term will be 0. So the change in entropy will be equal to only this second term minus R ln P2 by P1. So this function at constant temperature from this equation 2. At constant temperature, this term will be 0, delta H will be 0, so delta G will be equal to minus TdS. Let's say this is equation 4. Now put equation 3, this delta S value in equation 4. So finally the change in Gibbs energy will be equal to RT ln P2 by P1. Now this Gibbs energy can be written in this form. The Gibbs energy at this standard pressure, that is at 1 atmospheric pressure. So this Gibbs function can be expressed in terms of this GIT. It means Gibbs energy at 1 atmospheric pressure plus whatever change occur due to this PI, due to the current pressure of the system. So substitute this equation 6 in equation 1. What was equation 1? This one. This equilibrium condition. Replace this value Gc, Gd, Ga and Gb in this equation, and you will get this equation. This one is replace Gc by Gc dot plus RT and Pc. Similarly Gd, Ga and Gb. Replace this. Now if you combine these Vc Gc star plus Vd Gd star plus Va Ga star plus Vb Ga star, so this is overall standard state Gibbs function. I am replacing this by this. If I combine all these Gibbs energy, so this will be a standard change in Gibbs energy. Let's say this is equation 8. Now put replace this whole quantity by delta G in equation 7. Then finally this delta and make it in left hand side. Then you will get the standard Gibbs change in Gibbs energy will be equal to the remaining term. The remaining term Vc RT ln C, Vd RT ln Pd, Va RTLM PA and VB RTLM PB. So this one. So you will get this equation. Now rearrange this equation. This is RT and this VC will be go to in the power in the logarithm. So this will be equal to log PC raised to power VC. Similarly, this one will be equal to ln PD raised to power VD, and here log PA raised to power VA. Okay, and now again, if you combine these equations, then take logarithm common, then this positive quantity will be multiply this one, and this negative quantity will be go in the denominator. So this will be the final expression for change in Gibbs energy. Let's say this one is equation 9. We can replace this whole term, this term by Kp. So if we replace this term by Kp, then this equation will become, the change in Gibbs energy will be equal to minus RT ln Kp. So Kp is this quantity. Let's say this one is equation 11. This Kp is called equilibrium constant for the chemical equilibrium of an ideal gas. From equation 10, we can express or rearrange this equation in terms of this equilibrium constant Kp. So if we express this equation in terms of Kp, then this equation will become this. Let's say this is equation 12. Again, the partial pressure is equal to the mole fraction into total pressure, or this partial pressure will be equal to, this mole fraction will be equal to number of mole of component I divided by total number of mole. So Ni upon N into total pressure. It is total pressure, N is total number of mole present in the reaction chamber including inert gas. So put this equation 13 in equation 11, this one. Replace this partial pressure, by Ni by N into P. So if you replace these partial pressure terms by Ni by N into P, you will get this equation. So this is another expression for representing this equilibrium constant. Here delta V is equal to the summation of whole stoichiometric coefficient. So this is another form of representing equilibrium constant. In this expression, we take an example in which there are two reactants A and B reacts to form C and D. So this expression is especially applicable for such type of reaction, but it will change according to the type of reaction, whatever how many component of reactant and product we have, this expression will change accordingly. So from this equation, from equation 9 to equation 14, we can make several conclusions. Like the first conclusion is that Kp of a reaction depends on temperature only. If you see equation 12, this 12. So this Kp, the equilibrium constant, is a function of temperature only. It's independent of pressure. There is no pressure term in the expression. So this Kp value is function of temperature only. So this is our first conclusion. The Kp value is function of temperature only. For For example, we have this equation. The hydrogen and oxygen react to form water at 1 atmosphere. The same reaction occurs at 5 atmosphere. In both the cases, the Kp value will be same. Or second case, in which we have this reaction at 3 atmosphere, and there are some inert gas is also present, this nitrogen. So again the Kp value will be same whether we are changing pressure as well as inserting inert gas, but it does not affect the Kp value. The Kp value will be same in both the cases. The second conclusion is that the Kp value of backward reaction is equal to 1 upon Kp. For example, this one is a forward reaction in which hydrogen and oxygen reacts to form water at 1000 degrees centigrade. That Kp value is this one. And for backward reaction in which water is dissociated into hydrogen and oxygen at same temperature, but the Kp value will be equal to 1 upon Kp. So 1 upon this value will be equal to the value of Kp. The third conclusion is that the larger the value of Kp, the more complete the reaction. If you see equation number 11, this one, this equation number 11, if the partial pressure of product will be higher, then the Kp value will also be high. So if Kp value is high, this if you see in another way, if Kp value is high, it means the partial pressure of product are higher, or there will be a larger composition of product, or the reaction extent will be higher. The presence of inert gases affect the equilibrium composition, although it does not affect the equilibrium constant. If you see expression of Kp, there is this one. Here N is total number of mole. So the total number of mole, but it does this number of mole also include number of inert gases, but this Kp value is independent of number of mole. If this quantity is increased, it will be balanced by another factors. When stoichiometric coefficient are double, the value of Kp is squared, because the expression for Kp value is the pressure of product divided by pressure of reactant. So if the this stoichiometric coefficient is double, this one, if you multiply this full expression by 2, 2H2 plus O2, it will give 2H2O. So again, if we put value in the expression of Kp, then this value will be partial pressure of water square divided by partial pressure of hydrogen square and partial pressure of oxygen, or we can say it's the square of this expression. So when the stoichiometric coefficients are doubled, the Kp value will be squared. And this conclusion 7 is that the equilibrium constant tells us about the equilibrium composition, but it not tell us about the rate at which this equilibrium achieved. It not give information about the rate of achievement of the equilibrium, but it only give information about the equilibrium composition. So these are some of the conclusion, and we are concluding today's class. In the previous class, we have tried to calculate the value of equilibrium constant. So in that, we have calculated equilibrium constant in terms of partial pressure and in terms of temperature and in terms of number of mole of reactants and products. So now in this class we will calculate the variation of equilibrium constant with temperature. So let's take this term Kp is equal to e raised to power minus delta Gt by RT. We also know the change in Gibbs energy is equal to delta H minus d delta S. If we replace this Gibbs energy with this equation, then finally we will get equation 3 in which delta H delta G is replaced by this and separated these two terms. Now differentiate equation 3rd with respect to temperature. So if you differentiate this equation, then finally you will get this, the differentiation of these equations. Here we have two variable delta H and RT. Then differentiation of first function, second function, similarly differentiation of this term will be that one. So let's say this is equation 4. Now the change in enthalpy is TdS minus VdP. So at constant pressure this VdP, this dP will be 0. So dH will be equal to TdS. Or you can say in standard form, the standard enthalpy change will be equal to T ds delta S, standard enthalpy change. So put this equation 5 in equation 4. So if you put this equation, these two terms will be cancelled out. If you replace this delta S by delta H, then these two equations will be identical and these two equations will be cancelled out. We will left with only this term. So final expression will be this. So delta ln Kp by dt will be equal to delta H d by RT square. Here this delta H is change in enthalpy and at 1 atmospheric pressure, because it's standard enthalpy change which happens to be at 1 atmospheric pressure. But as you can see in this equation, the Kp value is independent of total pressure. This depends on the partial pressure of individual component, but it's independent of total pressure. So if this is independent of total pressure, then we can replace this delta H by small, let's say this is small h r. And this HR, because this one is at standard 1 atmospheric pressure, this is at any pressure, this HR is enthalpy of reaction at any temperature pressure. Now if you replace this, finally you will get this equation, and this equation is called Van 't Hoff equation. Van 't Hoff equation. Here the enthalpy is a function of temperature, but if the variation of temperature is very small, in that case we can assume this enthalpy is constant. What I am saying is that if there is only small variation in the temperature, then for small change in temperature the enthalpy value is almost constant. In that case this term will be constant, and if we integrate this equation by assuming HR constant, then finally we will get this equation integrating by limit Kp1 and Kp2, and here between temperature T1 and T2 we will get finally this expression. So in this way we can calculate the equilibrium constant at different temperature. For example, the equilibrium constant value at a temperature is given, and we need to calculate the equilibrium constant at some another temperature. Then by using this equation we can calculate the same. Now another very important topic is phase rule for any reacting or non-reacting system. So the degree of freedom F is equal to n minus pi minus r plus 2. This is for a reacting system. Similarly, for non-reacting system, F is equal to n minus pi plus 2. Here F is degree of freedom. N is number of phase present in the system, the solid, liquid or gas, how many phase are present in the system. And this N is number of chemical species. Number of chemical species, it may be reactant or product. And R is number of independent chemical reaction at equilibrium with the system. So for this R value will be there only for reacting system. For non-reacting system there are no chemical reactions, so this term will be 0. So in this manner we can calculate degree of freedom for both the reacting as well as non-reacting system. So this is the end of today's class. If you have any query, you can let me know. Thank you.